Welcome back, everybody. I hope that you are staying dry as you can on this rainy spring day. And I'm thankful that you're present, tuning in for this brief reflection on Palm Sunday's service. During my sermon, I spoke about the processual nature of reality and of Jesus. There's no going back, there is a going forward. Which is not to say that you don't bring some of what is in the past with you, some of that sort of prophetic fire, which we know Jesus brought quite readily. And you also bring the teachings, the trainings, the wisdom of the past, of the elders. You bring all of that with you into a new life. And that is certainly what Jesus is announcing. There is a different way of being and relating. And that is what the entrance to Jerusalem is all about. Palm Sunday is indeed about transformation, a new world, a new creation. It is not a homecoming. It is not a coming back. It is a going forward into something new, something that is perhaps even unprecedented, but which we are nevertheless called to co-create. Today, I want to introduce a related concept that I just discovered a couple of weeks ago as a result of a new book written by a Canadian author, Astra Taylor. It's entitled Solidarity. And her concept in this text is transformative justice. Some of you may be familiar with restorative justice, a practice that I personally am quite fond of, which I first discovered in seminary and has a lot to do with truth and reconciliation, which many of us, of course, know about here in the Canadian context and in the context of the TRC in South Africa. Taylor takes that a step further and says the problem with a sense of restorative justice is that it implies that there was a time and place when things were in a state of equanimity, that there was some measure of peace and right relation. However, at least as it concerns various types of contact, specifically among indigenous and settler relations, or in other areas of the world and our lives, we believe, just as Jesus did, that the world has not seen just yet all that it could be, that we as human beings have not lived fully into the right relations that we are called to. That doesn't mean there haven't been glimpses, or we might say foretaste, but I love the notion of transformative justice as a leveling up of restorative justice. Restorative justice has the right insight. We can't go around eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. As Gandhi said, we'd all be blind. But transformative justice says this: we're not returning to a paradisal utopian state in the past. That's not what we're doing. We're actually building and co-creating something new. We're taking the wisdom and some of the truths that we've gleaned from the past, we're bringing that into this co-creative process, but it's a transformative process and there is something new emerging, and we are invited to be a part of that. So I hope that you hear this phrase, transformative justice, in light of Holy Week and all that is still to come. That means, of course, Friday, the cost, the sacrifice that we recognize on Good Friday, and of course our anticipation of resurrection, which, if that's not transformation in a new world, I don't know what is. So carry that with you this week. Let that be a guiding light and perhaps a new frame through which we can understand our practice as people of faith. Thanks for tuning in this week. I will see you next week.